He was a great character, just behind the
Man,
scenes
you
wasn't
know
great.
what?
I
Shut up.
remember him. I remember
Listen,
him.
speaking of, you remember when we mentioned we're probably going to get to Seth Rollins? That we are. See, that's a real prediction right there,
That's a
Jeff.
real prediction, Jeff. That's how the fuck you do it.
And it's not a
Nah,
prediction; it's a spoiler.
Shit, yeah. When you're like me, bro, and you see around corners, you know, it
Boy got
becomes a
bug eyed
spoiler.
and shit.
See around corners.
Well, speaking of speaking of Seth Rollins, well let's first say how we mentioned it earlier with Jey Uso. Um, God damn, that match with Jey Uso was better than everything. Those three matches that I mentioned earlier, the Fatal Four Way and the two Triple Threats at Mania. Other than those matches, this Rollins and Uso match burnt them all to the floor.
Oh man, it was a barn burner, man. It was
They
exactly what I expect out of Jey Uso. Nothing less. And I swear it's that Rollins set the tone for that. And you know, and Jey Uso, to his credit, he kept up with it. And then they had all the run-ins. I mean, everything was real nice about that match.
real nice.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of, I know that they did the two of them on the outside of the ring after that run in, and then they had Punk and Zayn and Jay up top. And everyone's like, "Oh, is there a third member? A third member?" And now I'm seeing that at Saturday Night Main Event, it's gonna be Punk and Zayn versus Braun and Rollins, and then Braun is facing Jay at Raw. Which, by the way, again, they're doing that with Braun too. They're giving him all these big matches,
Yeah.
doubling his workload up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
We
good
said
for him.
this in the last podcast that I said Braun was going to be a champion within the next, few months.
Very soon. But is there going to be a third member in Seth's group? And does there need to be?
You know, like, do I think there's going to be a third member? I do. I do think there's going to be a third member eventually. But as of right now, no, they don't need a third member or a third wrestler. I think what they got right now is pretty decent, but I do think though that they're going to add 3, maybe 4 people to this. I mean, they could. I could see a world where they do that. Um, yeah.
Personally, I think it would benefit everybody if they didn't. Because to me, that's going to take away from Braun. Um, Now, if they did, I'd say Logan Paul would be a
Logan
good fit.
Paul.
Oh yeah,
That's a good
Logan Paul.
guess.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
these
because
these are the ones, man.
I
Just
saw a
like just like
few.
when Kelly said that predicted that our truth was going to come out in the
yeah,
Cena Orton match.
yeah.
This right here,
I do think
this is
Logan
going to be
Paul
my
would
little
fit
Jimmy prediction.
the narrative very well because he's like a total like heat magnet. So you know, the fans are gonna eat that alive. So I've heard theories of him, maybe Austin Theory, which I don't see that happening. I saw
Nah,
who else? Maybe someone unexpected like Sami Zayn turning heel. I could see that happening. Or
Nah, if it's not
Kevin
going to be Logan,
Owens.
hey, I
or
was just going
Becky
to say,
Lynch.
no, no, no. First of all, if it's going to be anyone other than Logan Paul, I would have to say Kevin Owens. But they're not going to add Becky Lynch. Okay, and let me tell you why.
Kevin Owens is gonna be out for a
Becky
while, so
Lynch is second is the second largest women's like there's nobody bigger than Becky Lynch except for Charlotte Flair as far as like career wise on this women's roster right now.
And you know
You're not
what?
gonna put them. You're not gonna put her as a fucking fifth wheel behind Seth, Braun, and Heyman. Like, it's just not gonna happen.
I'll give you some pushback on that though. And it's not that I don't agree that it won't happen. But what I would say is they need to put Becky Lynch with them because Becky Lynch's promos have been straight trash. Just
So
like she's getting the same
And
reception
plus
as
Seth
Charlotte Flair.
Rollins being her husband too, like it would make sense. Just throw her in there.
yeah,
Like
that's why
she's
they're
gonna
not
go
gonna
with
do it.
him.
That's why they don't put Bianca and Montez together. You know what I'm saying? Secondly, did you watch Raw yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to these promos. Okay, first of all, Paul Heyman. Everything he has said so far, 100% right. Is he not?
Oh
Is,
yeah,
is
Oh no, for real.
Paul's the shit. He always puts on a great promo.
not a single lie told? Okay, um, so that's why I'm actually rooting for this Seth Rollins and stuff, even though I think Rollins is wrong. Um, but Paul Heyman's right, and
You know what's so cool is Seth Rollins doesn't even get booed when he comes out. Like he's just so fucking over. The fans haven't even accepted his heel
He's
turn.
so good. He's so good. It's hard to hate him.
Yeah.
Like he's that kind
I
of
mean,
heel,
they'll
just like
boo him
with
once he's in
Dom.
the ring. My fault. I talked over you. My bad.
Like just like with Dom, same thing. Like
Yeah.
he's a massive heel, but he's starting, fans are starting to love him because of how good he is.
Yeah.
And Seth Rollins has been like that for years.
listen, and then we get to Becky Lynch, who also has been nothing but correct in what she said. Now, you said her promos have sucked since she came back. Up until yesterday, I agreed.